Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is l.k.p, aka lowkeyprose, and if you're new here, hi, I talk about love and write about it too, and what better topic when it comes to love than Bridgerton. I have seen season 1, season 2, Queen Charlotte, and season 3, of course. So let's talk about season 3 of Bridgerton, because I have a lot of thoughts. And it's gonna be kind of like out of order, and just accumulation of all of my thoughts, and seeing if we agree on some things too. So let's get into the video. And don't forget to subscribe and turn your notifications on. I was very underwhelmed with them as a couple, to be quite honest. They're very uninteresting, and honestly, their whole entire storyline could have been removed from this season, to be quite honest. The only thing that brings a lot of the other characters together is the pub or the bar or the club or whatever that the guy owns. That was interesting in last season. I found that it was a lot more interesting, like seeing him as a boxer and then trying to make something of himself, and then having his business and having it do well, having it not do well, and then having it do well. Like, I liked that storyline a lot. And of course, I mean, I love to see Black people win, but they're boring. I mean, the wife is pretty.
Great gowns, beautiful gowns.
He's hot. They added nothing to the season. They were just there. And then like they hosted a ball, and their ball was the most mid ball that I've ever seen. And then they had like this large contraption that opened up. What in the Decepticon Autobots Assemble type of contraption is this? It looked like a biblically accurate angel. And then for the queen to come in and be like, not bad, not good either. And you know, unpopular opinion, I don't think he should have sold his business. That's another avenue of money. I didn't like they were like kind of trying to girl boss him out of what he worked really, really hard for. I don't see why he couldn't have been working, or not even working, but like at least be the CEO and then have someone like else work. Like, I just didn't understand why his business was everybody else's business. I don't give a fuck what everybody else thinks. No one else was doing what he was doing. Working and also having a ton of money from your son. Like, you could have like kept on with the revenue, kept on with your income, building that generational wealth, and you gave it up. I hate to sound like I'm not an ally. I promise I am, but I am not an ally for them. Okay, next case. Lady Featherington is a boss ass bitch. I love her because she's so real. She's kind of like the modern day sprinkle lady. You marry for security, not for love. I don't give a fuck if he's ugly. How pretty is his money? Her daughters are always on her mind of like how to secure her place in the town, how to take care of her family, keep the family name, and make sure her daughters are okay. When you see like the differences between Violet and Lady Featherington, Violet, she strives for her children to marry for love because she had that love with Edmund, and so now for all of her children she needs that pizzazz, which is why like she was so hesitant with Kilmartin, because she's like, I need a little bit more. Like, yeah, you're nice, but where's the love? Where's the grand gesture? Like, she wants her kids to be in love first. With Lady Featherington, she's like,
Love?
because she's never known love. She is only married out of security, out of societal standing. So how can she teach something to her daughters that she herself has never experienced? I completely understood where she was coming from. Boss bitch. She had such range. Not like she stole the show, but she added something. At the end, she couldn't even be mad that Penelope was Miss Whistledown, because she's like, wow.
Real? Recognize real.
He just seemed like he'd be so mediocre in bed. Why didn't he spin the block on Cressida though? Like, he dead ass like disappeared. I guess he just wasn't interested in her. Otherwise he would have spun the block on her, but like he didn't. He was like, fuck y'all, I'm off to be with my plants.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
I'm team Cressida. You have to be put in her position that the only future for a woman during those times was to be married. Women don't have dreams. When she was at that darn party and she was hearing about, oh, well, Lady Whistledown, she doesn't need to be married. Like, no one would ever marry her. Her claiming to be Whistledown, her blackmailing the Bridgertons to giving her money, I would have done the exact same thing.
Mama Roo, still me.
It's either gonna be married off to that old fossil or be with her aunt. So yeah, I don't blame her for blackmailing everybody and being like, and what?
Yes, I did that. And you would do it too for a check.
And you know what? I wanted her to have like a little lesbian moment with Eloise, but it just wasn't there. Eloise, like, she wanted her to be her Penelope, but like Cressida's just not built like that. She's like, no, like, I hear you and like you funny, like you crack like cute jokes and shit, but like I still want to get married at the end of the day. And I still like marriages and I still like wins. I saw this thing where it's like her house is so dull and gray. She dresses like a bird trapped in a cage, and I was just like, oh God. I love storytelling through fashion and through set design, because she is, and like, what would you do? That was so funny when she was like, I have much gossip from all the lands. That's what I have so far. I was also team Cressida when Colin tried to talk her out of the blackmail. I know how it feels from all my travels. He's like that annoying, obnoxious girl that travels abroad and thinks like she's French from like being there for like a week. Oh my God. Did I say we? Sorry.
The voices.
He really tried to pull at her heartstrings and her sympathy, and she was like, Bitch, actually coming in here, wasting my time and pissing me off. Now I want more. I love how she really is the puppet master. She lets people make their own decisions, but she'll drop that little... because she always comes from a logical standpoint of like, bitch, she's not trying to beat you at your game. She's trying to stay in the game. Lady Danbury, at the end of the day, she is a businesswoman. She understands society to an expert GOAT level degree. The balls, giving up the business, marrying the right person is all part of the large game of society. In the beginning when she didn't like her brother, I didn't like him either because she didn't like him. I didn't even need to know why. Like, you just trust her so much that you're like, I don't fuck with him either. But then to find out that like, he snitched on her when they were 10, but like, since we know the lore of the abuse and the low-key torture of being with that old fat fuck, we know she had a chance to escape and go over that fucking wall as well, and he took away her freedom and her happiness. So no wonder she didn't like him. He brought up her real name, Soma, and when she repeated it back, her delivery was so like, you felt it in your gut, like Soma. And that scene when Violet was like, you need to handle your affairs, bitch, before you try to handle any of mine. It brought so much lore to a childhood that we haven't seen, to lore that we haven't seen. It was really dependent on us reliving the memories of Lady Danbury through their acting and through the recollection of what happened in the past. And they executed it so well. I felt it. I felt every word. You felt her hurt. You felt her pain. You felt her just betrayal. She really needs to get an Emmy for this season. She really, really does. I do like your brother, and you know, I do want to have your blessing. And Miss D, she was like, bitch, we are past adults. We are adults. Like, you don't need my blessing. And honestly, I mean, I didn't ask for yours because she fucked her dad. Her dad is historical Fitzgerald Grant III. If you know, you know. I loved how it was written because, listen, I'm not gonna stand in the way of your happiness. I fully support you fucking my brother. And then I love that it was like, honestly, I don't need to know. What I do know is that you're a good friend. And that's all that fucking matters. And then when it cued to like the little princess hat,
I was done.
and now that I'm on that shit, Violet and the brother don't have any chemistry. They're flirting, yeah, and he does have like kind of fuck me bedroom eyes, but like I don't feel a connection. I don't feel like they want to fuck. And like that scene of like him eating and she's like, I feel like they're trying to make it happen, and fetch is just never gonna happen. Colin is very unattractive to me. He is cute outside of the show. Like when he has a beard, he's kind of hot. He's ugly hot. I like his dark eyes. Like from here up, I like his face, but from here down, it just wasn't doing it for me. It just wasn't doing it for me. And what also wasn't doing it for me was the fact that like at the end of season 2, he said,
I would never dream of courting Penelope Featherington.
and guess what? He never did. He didn't take her out on dates. He didn't walk around the promenade with her. Well, okay, they did, but it was to help her find a husband. And it wasn't like, I am actually pursuing you, Penelope Featherington. The Duke would have rather himself than court Daphne seriously. And so they pretended to, but by pretending to, he was still doing so. Hell, even Kill Martin, I'm gonna get on his ass too, courted the chick more than Colin. He just put his fingers in her and it was like, yeah, marry me.
Despicable.
The whole buildup of him finally figuring out that he liked her, what, cause she changed her clothes, she touched his hand when he cut his hand, I was just like, it's just not enough. It is not enough. He liked the attention from her with the letters. He liked her as a friend. That's all he saw her to be. They kissed once. After one kiss, Anthony was a slow burn. He was pining over Kate, fighting against his urges, looking at her lustfully like he wanted Kate. And then when he finally did, it felt great. He didn't yearn enough for me. He didn't long enough for me. The longing was short. I did watch it twice. Once for, and then second for research purposes. I felt like I was edging. I felt like I was edged. And then when I finally got it just didn't feel satisfactory. I like the detail of the 2 fingers. I noticed that immediately. If you've ever been finger blasted, you know, there are signs. He wasn't dynamic enough for me. I guess they both have they both kind of are on the spectrum, I guess, of like kind of being a little socially awkward and like kind of missing some cues. And I think what was unattractive about him to me was that like he didn't have any swag. I don't like it when Black characters don't have just a little bit of something about them that makes them interesting enough to make their character worth watching. What the fuck do we know about Kilmartin? Other than he can write music. There again, courting. romantic gesture. He doesn't have any like nerdy swag or not even any awkward swag. He was just awkward. And there was just something about him that I just couldn't connect with. And he's not cute in the show. I don't know if it was like the makeup or his hair outside of the show. Have you seen this picture? Have you seen this picture? They look so good together. Every time he was on screen, it just felt like he had something planned. He just always looked like he was plotting something. In the back of my mind, I'm fine. Like, that's just how he played this role. Even the girl, she's charming with her social awkwardness. But with him, it was off-putting. But I loved the speech that Kilmartin gave to Violet of giving her flowers, and it was like, I see you in every single Bridgerton, and it's what makes me love your daughter even more. And she knows every single one of her children through and through. The fact that he noticed that and he shouted her out.
Take off your clothes.
I just wish that he was cool. He's not cool. When she said it's hard being a bad bitch with great breasts, and when I said, oh really? And she was like, oh really? I was like, oh. She was right. I have to agree. She's so pretty. Like, it was her show. It's the fact that her as Whistledown and her navigating that was so much more interesting than her love interest with Colin. The scene was beautifully written. Like, I really liked it. And then like the shawl, the blue pops on her skin, her body, how like just curvy and voluptuous and gorgeous that she is. I just feel like she's a Greek sculpture's wet dream. I thought it was written pretty realistically of like losing your virginity. Also, I thought of this, why couldn't he do a little spit? You know, there's usually like a, you know, or, and then you, so why was he like, yeah, this is gonna hurt and I can't help it? Why do you say like that, like you're big or something? Like, no, they didn't have lube, but they do have saliva. Help a bitch out. And Benedict being in his Challengers era and having a threesome the whole entire time. He was not once concerned with anything that was actually happening with his family. I have been waiting for the gay shit. I need the gay shit like this. I am not prepared. I am not ready for the person that I'm going to be when Benedict's season comes out. And I love that he has human teeth. Like, I love his crooked teeth and his smile and his laugh. He's my favorite Bridgerton. I also really love the parallels of like Benedict and Eloise on the swings during their existential crises every single time, and like they're just always together, and I feel like they're the closest. I watched that season maybe 2 or 3 times because it was that good. It was so good. I love their scenes together. Every time that he looks at her, he's just absolutely in awe. He knows that he bagged the baddest bitch of the ton, and I love that energy. I love when he was between her legs, he was like, anything that's happening out there cannot possibly be more important than what's happening down here. Loved it. He's hot, sexy, slut. I love how much he loves her. And when she was like, please don't make me love you even more, I simply cannot bear it. Every single scene that we got of them, I'm like, yes, more please, yes, more please.
Thank you, Mama.
And wrapping it up when Queen Charlotte exposes Penelope in the end, and Penelope has like that whole speech about how honest and raw it is to live your life out in the open and how easy it was for her to judge from the shadows, but like there's nothing more powerful and more brave than living your truth and having your truth for everyone to see. And I love that her sister came to her rescue with the bugs, with the butterflies. And I love that, you know, Penelope addressed it like it's not all kumbaya. Like, yeah, we're cool about it now, but people are still gonna hate your bitch. People still got some shit to say because, you know, I said some shit about them, but
you can't read the doll.
It is my least favorite Bridgerton season. I feel like it ended with, you know, Benedict kind of being queued up for the next season. You know, you open a new door for me. Now I realize more of what I want. My heart kind of hurt for Miss Arnold, even though we don't know fuck about her except that she's a widow and that she goes off and fucks people. I saw myself in her in that moment when she's like, you know, I'm starting to care for you a lot more and I want us to explore this. And then him looking at her like,
we've all been there.
Y'all should have just uploaded a new episode every week versus 4 and then waiting a whole other month for the next. All we can do is just be seated because I am gonna be sad. On a scale of 1 to 5, I give Bridgerton season 3 a 3.5 out of 5. Out of the Bridgerton universe, Queen Charlotte, Canthony with the Duke, season 3 with Penelope and Colin. And that's that on that.
Now, this is usually part of the video where I share a poem based on the topic of today, but I'm going to mix it up and instead recite the carriage confession scene instead. Just kidding. These past few weeks have been full of confounding feelings. Feelings like a total inability to stop thinking about you, about that kiss. Feelings like dreaming of you when I'm sleeping, in fact, preferring sleep because that is where I might find you. A feeling that is like torture, but one which I cannot, will not, do not want to give up.
If you liked what you've heard and liked what you've seen, follow me on everything at l.k.p. I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment, tell me your thoughts. I'd love to know what you think. Until next time, safe travels.
I wonder when you hold her, she's just a placeholder. When you look into her eyes, you remember how brown you made mine. I guess it's delusion, and when you see me, it's proven I'm on the sideline.